Don't choose a design job until you watch this. If you're stuck trying to figure out what kind of graphic designer you should be or what kind of job even makes sense for you, this video is for you. Because there is pressure to pick a niche right away, branding, UX, packaging, UI, motion, whatever, and it feels like you're supposed to have your whole path figured out before you even started. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't work like that, and it shouldn't work like that. If you're new here, hi, my name is Biller. I'm a graphic designer, digital illustrator, and have a big passion for UI UX. So as you can understand, I don't have a specific niche, but I love having a variety of projects in my portfolio. And why stop ourselves while we can experience creativity, right? Or maybe having a niche is just for you, who knows? I'm gonna explain better now. Let's break down 3 main design career paths that most people fall into and the real talk about what they're actually like. I'll tell you what each one demands, what kind of designer fits where, and what nobody really tells you about them. So whether you're just graduating or thinking about switching it up, don't pick a path until you've seen all these 3 sides. So part 1 is in-house design, aka unfortunately the Swiss Army knife. Let's start with this. Working in-house means you're designing for one company, one brand. You're not switching clients every week. You're embedded in the company's team, and your job is to make everything on brand. Social posts, print materials, internal decks, packaging, mock-up, trade show booths, web design, everything. Here's the thing about in-house. You've got to be a Swiss Army knife. You might be hired with the title of graphic designer, but the next thing you know, you're figuring out how to animate a video or clean up product photography. Some days you're deep in Photoshop, other days you're Googling how to make a MailChimp newsletter look decent. And I can almost guarantee that you will design some PowerPoint presentations for the company. If you're someone who loves variety and being involved in lots of different parts in the creative process, this might be your zone. It's not always glamorous, but it will teach you a lot and fast. One underrated thing, you really get to understand brand consistency, like you're the protector of the vibe. You see how marketing, social packaging, and everything else connects, and you make sure it all looks like it belongs together. But the flip side, you might feel like you're never getting super deep into anything, like you're not an expert on one thing, because you're doing a little bit of everything, but you're rarely becoming a specialist. If you thrive on mastering one skill like animation or UX, this path might feel too broad for you. I'm currently working in-house for a company, and I'm a significant part of their marketing team. Although I want to defend my stand as a graphic designer, I sometimes have other tasks in the marketing field, like ordering marketing merch, organize campaigns, and whatnot. But what got me hired here, and my manager actually told me that, is my portfolio variety. When I was applying for this, I had packaging, branding, web design, social media, and even video ads projects in my portfolio. And that was what they were looking for, but I usually get the feeling that I'm not becoming an expert on anything, yet I know almost everything in the field now, like hands-on experience. Part 2 is design agencies, the place for the experts. Now, let's talk about the expert thing. Agencies usually hire you for your specialty. If you're really into layout and typography, they'll want you doing that. If you've got a motion reel, they'll keep handling your video work. They're all about assembling teams of people who are really good at something. So it's fast-paced. It's intense, but the creative level is super high. You're surrounded by other designers, art directors, writers, people who speak the same language and push your work. I always think it is an awesome thing because in my job, I often need to explain, almost educate non-creative people or executives about the designs I created. It's not their fault or something, of course, but I keep pitching stuff. I imagine in a creative agency, everyone has a kind of a creative eye, and brainstorming sessions are more accelerating. You get to work on a variety of clients, which means different styles, tones, and challenges. That can be super exciting if you get bored easily or want a portfolio that's full of range. But agencies can burn you out. Deadlines are tight, feedback loops are consistent, and the learning curve is steep. You might be asked to push your limits, but for sometimes at the cost of your evenings or weekends. That said, if you're looking to level up fast, this is a place to do it. You'll get a crash course in working with art directors, strategists, project managers, and how to take critique without crying. Because we hear a lot of crying stories surrounding the agency jobs, but I think the creativity thrill is priceless, especially comparing to in-house work. Because in in-house environment, you're just following a one branding and it's not very sexy or exciting all the time. But in the agency, you will have variety of clients all the time, like change once in a month or once in a 3 month, and you will have to challenge yourself and your skills and your creativity, because let's say 1 month you're just working with a pharmaceutical company, but the next month you can work with a local ice cream shop. So it sounds fun. And part 3 is freelance. You are the business right now. So let's talk about freelance. It's overwhelming me a lot. This one sounds like the dream to a lot of people. Set your own hours, pick your own clients, work in your pajamas. And yes, some of that is true, but you also become the entire business. And please don't work in your pajamas because it will mess up your work-life balance. And the next thing you know that you're burned out and you can't get out of the bed and you start losing clients. It's a dark turn, but I just had to say this. So in freelance, you're the designer, the project manager, the copywriter, or the one hiring the copywriter. You're chasing invoices, scheduling meetings, building proposals. There's no one else to blame or lean on. So that doesn't mean you can't outsource. In fact, smart freelancers build networks of other creatives like photographers, developers, writers, and create a mini teams when needed. You don't have to do it all, but you do have to coordinate it all. And I know some designers are trying to do it all and they're successful, but some are very overwhelmed and burnt out because they're trying to do everything themselves. So let's think it like this. You are a freelance designer, but there are freelance copywriters, freelance developers, and photographers in this world. So there's no reason that you can't all work together and share a client or a project. So the real challenge is stability in freelance, because some months you're overwhelmed, other months you're crickets. You need a system for getting clients, pricing your work, and saying no to the wrong projects. Otherwise, it gets messy fast. But if you're someone who values freedom and wants to carve out your own space in the design world, freelancing gives you room to do that. You're not tied to one style or one niche or one boss. You get to shape your own career for better or for worse. So, which one is right for you? Okay, that's the ultimate question. Look, none of these are perfect. In-house gives you stability and variety, but maybe not the depth. Agencies push your creative growth, but the hours can be brutal. And freelancing gives you freedom, but also pressure. So how do you choose? Here's what helped me. I stopped asking, what should I be? And started asking, how do I want my day to look? So I know a couple of stuff in this field because before I became a graphic designer, I have a psychology bachelor's degree and I worked as a school counselor for 7 years, and I helped teenagers, young people, adults to build their career ahead. So there are some questions no matter what is your technical skill level is. So don't focus on the pay stub, don't focus on, oh, what's trending these days, but try to find the thing that is fit to your lifestyle and your passion, because this is how you get the success and this is how you get the stability and consistency in your work. Otherwise, you will pick something because you think it's paying well, but the next thing you know that you hated it and your life becomes miserable and you can't leave your job because you have to earn money to continue living and yada yada yada. So it's not actually about being a graphic designer or being a creative or being an engineer or a teacher. What matters is talking to yourself, ask yourself questions, try to get to know yourself and your way of working. So figure out your own inner mechanism, and then you can find the perfect job for you. So ask yourself, do I want structure, or do I want to decide my own schedule? Or do I want to specialize in one skill or be involved in every step of a project? I can freely say that I love doing everything a little bit because I love knowing a lot of stuff. So I'm not an expert on Photoshop or Illustrator or web design or Figma, but I can create one project from start to finish using all of those softwares I just talked about. So that's what I find thrilling, but I also admire other people, like they're like Photoshop wizards. They can do and create anything you want using Photoshop, or they're expert web designers doing only UI UX, and they can solve almost all the problems or issues you can possibly have in the web design world. So these are two distinct things, but knowing yourself and answering these questions are bigger for you. So the other big thing is, do I want a team to learn from, or do I want to figure things out solo? Because working with a team is a very big part of the creative world, and if you don't like working with other people, maybe freelancing or being the only creative in a marketing agency would be a better option for you. So the more honest you're about how you function, not just what you like to make, the easier this choice gets. Also, you're not stuck. Lots of designers start in-house to move to agency, then freelance later, or the other way around. Your path doesn't have to be linear. So don't stress about picking the perfect path. Pick the one that makes sense for you right now. Learn what you can, take the projects that scare you a little, and stay curious, because at the end of the day, it's all about exploring. Explore yourself, your skills, and figure out what you love the most. And I think that's the most important part of this. Eventually, your work, your style, your ideal clients, they all start to make sense, but only if you give yourself permission to try things first. If you're feeling stuck, confused, or unsure about your next step in the design, you know that you're not alone. Most of us are figuring out just as we go, and that's okay. Because to be honest, we all have to survive, so most of the time the scenario starts like this. You're self-taught, or you just graduated from college, you just take the first job that accepts you as a beginner. So, and it's probably most of the time the in-house field. You start somewhere, you just put the foot in the market, and you will figure out later. But don't overwhelm yourself. Don't have the decision fatigue, but just go with the flow with educated decisions. If you found this helpful, hit the like, drop a comment, or share it with a designer friend who needs to hear this, because we all need to hear this. I've got more honest takes on the creative world coming soon, so subscribe if you're into that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you. Take care. Bye.